So now we're going to start walking through how to apply those presentation best practices to our actual sample reployer. So if you will recall, the first step was coverage period overview. That's going to be an opportunity to introduce you to the first report in Dynamis, which is the coverage period overview report. Now to access reports, we're going to go up to our option box for plan groups / reports. Here's where we create new plan groups, how we organize our plan groups, and I'm going to click on the third option, which is reports. Now from reports, we're going to choose from the drop-down the report on which we want to do. And in our case, we want the first one, which is coverage period overview. All right, now we're going to go ahead and click preview. Now when it comes to running reports in Dynamis, you will notice different functionality if you are using Internet Explorer as opposed to one of the other browsers. When we preview the report, we're going to get a small preview of this. All right, so we're able to see what that report is going to look like. And since I'm in Google Chrome, I have an option to preview it in a new window to actually create that PDF report in a new browser tab. Now, Internet Explorer does not support that. It's not a Dynamis issue, it's an Internet Explorer issue, but using Internet Explorer, you'll have to download the report, usually to your desktop, and actually open that PDF to view it. Since I'm in Chrome, I'm going to go ahead and click preview in a new window, and you'll notice it's opening that report in a new browser tab right in Chrome. So when going in front of the employer, I recommend whenever possible using a browser that supports being able to preview these reports in a new browser window. Because now we can actually see that coverage period overview report. I can go ahead and zoom in, I can save it, and we'll see that as we go through and look at these reports, we'll talk about the idea that reports a lot of times turn into something we use after our meeting to confirm what we decided on. All right, but let's take a closer look at our coverage period overview report. Now, when we start looking at reports, the key to remember is reports in Dynamis really means they're designed to be printed or created as a PDF to be emailed. And when we look at reports, we talk about things that are different in Dynamis, and reports are going to be different for everyone that uses Dynamis. And we have probably used the same sheets for a long time, so this is going to be a transition into understanding these reports. And the key to remember is that the reports are intended to replicate how information is organized in the dashboard. So in our coverage period overview report, you're going to notice it looks a lot like the dashboard. We've got our plan groups in our same order that we have. We've got our plan group cost over here. We're able to see the budget number that we have identified. And really the addition to the dashboard in our coverage period overview report is going to be, here's where our plan group notes populate on this report. So we talked about those plan group notes not just being an internal tool to help everyone know what we're building out in a particular plan group, but now you get an idea on how those plan group notes incorporate into this report and really let us set up an expectation of what we're going to cover in this presentation. So in addition to our plan group notes, you'll notice we also have a decrement here based on whatever current is. So we can see the 12% increase for renewal. Since we have a budget assumption, all of our other options are going to be right around that 4% increase level. Now this report is where we're going to set up what we're going to cover. So we're literally going to talk them through that using the coverage period overview report. So in this example, we're going to set it up by saying, all right, we're going to be able to go in and start looking at the renewal and the options we have put together for you. You know, in our conversation, you said you really had a budget goal of 4% over where your current cost is. So that's what we're using as your budget. Now, we can always make changes to that and adapt it on the fly. That's the whole idea of being able to use this real-time system. But as a starting point, we're going to use that budget assumption that we were given. So the first thing we'll look at is your current dual option. We've got the 2,000 base plan, the 1,000 buy-up, you're contributing 70%, and on the enrollment we're using, here's your cost of current. All right, so we're also going to look at the renewal at that same premium share you have. So we're going to be able to see if you keep your premium share the same, we can see how your cost is going to be impacted, and we'll also be able to drill in and see how employees would be impacted by that as well. All right, since you had a budget, one of the ways we can get to the budget is by keeping our same plan designs and just adjusting the premium share and putting more on the employees in order to get to our budget target. And it may not be the most palatable option, but we'll be able to see how employees would be impacted in that scenario. And then we talked about replacing the current base plan with an HSA. So we've got a couple of different proposed options here that are going to introduce the idea of an HSA plan. And then we're going to be able to talk about different ways we can structure that between premium share and funding of the HSA. And those are the groups we're going to be looking at as well. All right, so again, coverage period overview allows us to incorporate those plan group notes and give a very high level financial overview of what's going to be covered in the presentation. And a lot of times I'll see if we're only going to take in one piece of paper, this might be the one we do because it's something to give notes on. It's something that recaps all the options we're looking at. So again, this is the coverage period overview report. And this is going to be, in many cases, your first step in setting up the presentation of the plan designs in the dashboard.